Welcome to Gamescom. We're here at the Red 5 booth taking a look at Firefall, and I'm here with Scott Youngblood, who is going to talk us through a bit about the game and all of the wonderful changes you made. Would you like to introduce yourself first?
Yeah, hi, I'm Scott Youngblood. I'm the lead designer on Firefall, and I'm here to talk about some of the new and crazy changes that we've made to the game to improve the overall fun.
Okay, so do you want to give us a little bit of background information about what Firefall is for those that don't know?
So Firefall is a team-based action shooter set on Earth, but it's a futuristic Earth. The year is 2233, and a recent event called the Firefall deposited a new crystite onto the planet, which crystite is a resource, we determined we could turn into an almost pure form of energy. Well, being the energy gluttons that we are, humanity figured out where this crystite came from, and they tracked it back to a star system 7 light years away called Alpha Prime. Now, we sent out a ship to get a buttload of this crystite. It came back with some, but we wanted more, and we wanted it faster, right? Because that's what we do. And so we used the crystite technology to create a new starship out in orbit called the Arclight. And the Arclight had, we were using this technology in a way that we'd never done it before to create a faster-than-light drive. Well, the first time they turned that on, something went horribly wrong. It created this rift that allowed the sentient, it's almost like an energy cloud that we call the melding, to cover the entirety of Earth. The Arclight crashes in, creating a buffer zone. For some reason, it's keeping the melding at bay. We're not exactly sure why, but here we are. And that's where the game of Firefall starts, is 6 months after the crash of Arclight.
The intro movie was rather cool to watch. For the first time I remember watching it, the story that it lays out is kind of interesting in the fact that you didn't just lay out, okay, this happened, here it is. There was, if I remember correctly, the captain was making a choice about what was going on. Because it wasn't like,
so Admiral Nostromo, he's the main character of the game, and he was actually just supposed to be a passenger on the Arclight, but the way things went, he kind of tried to take over there right at the end, and when he realized that the ship was heading right for his wife and child, he wanted to change that, but the only button that he could press to change that would have killed many, many more people, so he chose to sacrifice his family and save Rio.
That's quite insane to see that in an intro movie, that kind of... Normally it's the other way around. It's a case of, no, I'm not going to sacrifice them, and then it's a case of, well, this is all his fault. It's actually the other way around this time, and it's a case of, well, this was me sacrificing, and, the other way around, there might not have been anything here at all.
Yeah, and so that kind of sets the stage for, and you get to play with Nostromo over the course of Firefall, and you'll start to learn more and more and more about these characters and the melding and what's really all going on. Okay. So there's a lot of depth to the story.
So do you want to go ahead and jump into the game, and we'll take a look while we're...
Okay, so what we're really showing off at Gamescom are the new features that we've been hard at work at. So our beta went dormant for a few weeks while we retooled our whole progression system.
That's a crazy thing, because you had the beta for quite a while. How long was it in beta before the changes?
We were in beta for a little over a year with our previous leveling system, and we discovered that over time the leveling system created certain problems for us. One of which was that when you get higher levels, it took you so long to get that next level that your next reward was too far away, right? And you spend a lot of time not getting any new stuff. Well, I want people to get new stuff faster. And so in order to do that, we were going to have to interject more rewards per level. Well, then it kind of dawned on us, it's like, well, what are we using the levels for then? So we pitched the whole level idea. We still have EXP, but you get to spend that EXP on your own technology.
Yeah.
And so, let me turn off.
So you put out what was an interesting patch not long ago. The patch notes were fairly short and simple for it. Do you want to tell everyone what they were?
Yeah, the patch notes are actually our company motto, right? Which change everything, create fun. And we're not afraid to kill any golden cows because they exist. If the game is more fun with an idea that we think will be better, then we'll try it and do it. And we'll try it, and we'll have our community tell us, like, do you like it? Do you not like it? And based on what they say, we'll change.
That's insane. That it really shows dedication to creating a solid product then, because you're basically going, okay, we've had this for a year. No.
Yeah, I mean, well, we're first and foremost a multiplayer experience, right? And so making sure that our players are having fun in those environments is our utmost paramount goal, right? So we want to create fun.
Okay. Well, do you want to show us some of the things you've changed then and give players a bit more information?
Here I'm wearing an Assault Battleframe, and I'm looking at a new object called a Battleframe Garage. Previously, this was the loadout modification terminal, but we've changed things. Now when I go out and I get experience, I can spend that experience on my character. Let me switch to a different frame where I've got more. So I'm going to switch to a tier 2 frame and then show you what our technology tree looks like.
Okay.
So I interact with this and it will bring up...
Right. So what are we looking at here?
So this is the Battleframe Garage, where you can change all of your loadouts.
Yep.
Before, you could do the same thing by socketing modules into pieces of gear, but we've changed that whole system to be now more Battleframe-centric, and you're actually modifying the Battleframe itself.
See, I didn't mind too much the socketing system, but after having a look at the Battleframe system, it just feels smoother.
It provides us more opportunities. We also introduced a constraint system, so depending on the types of gear that you unlock or you craft, they have different constraint requirements. So there's lots of strategic choice into the Battleframes that you choose to make.
Yeah, I mean power, mass, and CPU.
So let me show you a tier 2 tech tree.
Okay.
So each one of these objects is a piece of technology that you can unlock and add to your character. They all have different experience requirements in order to unlock them. So let me go ahead and unlock this new ability here, which is a version of Resonating Bolts.
Okay, so is that the wall of text that has appeared? Is that just flavor text if people want to read it, and then the information for the skill is down the bottom, or...?
Yeah, we're still working on improving the readability of this interface. You're obviously right with the wall of text. I want to make this apparent that when you click on it, you know whether it's good for you or not. You know, you can make a quick decision.
I mean, looking at that, my eyes are instantly drawn to the bottom, because everything at the bottom of that is in color.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing that's the important information.
That is the important information, and you can also get more information by clicking on the objects themselves, and it will compare it against what you currently have equipped.
I love the fact that there is flavor text to it, though. That really adds an extra layer to each of the skills that you're picking up.
Yeah. And then so once you've unlocked this, then you would need to go back and add it to your Battleframe.
Okay.
And you can do that. Actually, I didn't unlock that, did I?
No, I distracted you.
So I'm going to go ahead and unlock it for real this time. All right, so now I've unlocked this new Asterisk Resonating Bolts ability to my arsenal of things that I can slot into Battleframes.
Okay, can I ask one question? You click the unlock button and it instantly unlocked. Is there going to be a confirmation on that, or is there going to be a way for people to reset what they've unlocked?
Yeah, I think there should be a way for you to be able to reset your gear.
Okay, is there going to be a confirmation as well, just so that, you know, someone doesn't accidentally click it and then go, no, wait?
We can add one if you think it's necessary.
I'm just guessing there'll always be that one player that's just like, I've just worked so hard to get all of this XP and I clicked the wrong skill by accident because my dog was yelling at me that my cat was on fire.
Yeah, you know, it happens.
Yeah.
Okay, and so once you've unlocked that item, in order to add it to your Battleframe, for the abilities, you'll click on the chest. So now, let's see, Resonating Bolts, I'll add it as my third ability slot. And let's see, where is it? All right, so now that actually socketed onto my character.
Okay, do you want to show us what other things you've got sat in there?
Right, so you'll notice that there's also the constraint system. So it has CPU, power, and weight, and each one of those are affected differently by different pieces of gear. They're also influenced by crafting. You can take these recipes. When I unlock a certification on my technology tree, the manufacturing terminal allows me to build customized versions of those weapons based on the types of resources I put in.
Okay, can we take a look at a piece of armor and see the stats and the constraints on it?
Let's see. Yeah, let's go ahead and look at signature weapon. Right, so down here at the bottom, I have CPU of 21, power of 384, and mass of 565.
That's a very heavy sniper rifle.
Yeah, so our numbers are interesting. We're still working on our constraint system and balancing it, but we wanted to get something in quickly so that we could demonstrate.
Of course, so that you could show it off and just go, look, this is what we're working with. The numbers, ignore the numbers.
Ignore the numbers or the values of the numbers, but pay attention to how it feels to socket items in and out.
Work.
Yeah, so we're still in progress on balancing this system, but we wanted to get it up and running so that we could demonstrate it here at Gamescom.
Yep.
All right, and let me jump over to the manufacturing. Actually, no, before I do that, talk about Battleframe tiers. So this is what replaces levels. Hold on.
I noticed that there's quite a few people around you. All of the lads and lasses outside that are running around at the.
Yeah, so we're actually
PCs.
playing on live beta right now on
Yes.
our US servers.
There was a guy when we first started that randomly yelled out "Hi Gamescom people."
Yeah,
which was quite
it's
cool.
Well, we've told them that we're demonstrating
Yeah.
here on the floor of Gamescom, and have encouraged them to join and help people here on the floor and play.
Well, yeah, and that also it just really goes to also show that the community that helped you make the changes, they know what they're doing because you asked them to come and help out, and they did. They turned up and they're like, "Hi, Gamescom."
Yeah, I mean, we're all in this together. It's like we're making the game, not for just them, but for ourselves as well too. This is something that we all get to share.
Yeah, you want a game that you'll enjoy playing as well.
So here we have kind of the master Battleframe guide. At the very top we have Tier 1, which I've unlocked about 50% of this Tier 1.
Okay, so how far down does this go?
Well, there are 5 tiers right now that we've talked about. And let me talk a little bit more about the Tier 1 and what it means. So when you start Tier 1, you have options. There's kind of 3 main paths through the tree. We have the top option, which this one is more damage focused for the recon.
Yep.
You have the bottom option, which is more, informational or movement focused, depending on the battle frame that you play.
So more kind of supporty.
Yeah. And then in the middle tree, there's more of a balance.
Yeah.
Right? And so depending on how you want to play a particular battle frame, the choice and how you proceed through the technology tree can really influence the options that you have available to you when you're creating your loadouts.
Okay. And so for the completionist, they can unlock everything if they're dedicated enough.
You can unlock everything, but the constraints system prevents you from using all of the best items all at the same time.
So you really do have to kind of choose what you want to be perfect at.
Yes.
You can't be excellent at everything.
Yep. And then so here we're progressing through Tier 1. I've already unlocked all the way on the top, and I went through and took an interesting path through the middle here. Well, this allowed me to unlock the new Raptor frame, which is more of a damage-focused Tier 2. Whereas if I'd gone the other way, I would have had, I can't read it, Nighthawk, which is more of a informational-focused recon.
Yeah. Now,
And then so as you tier up, go back to the battle frames, you can see the choices kind of go out.
I love also it tells you how much of the tier you've completed. Well, for that suit. So it actually tells you that you've got 48% complete and then 10% complete.
We'll put achievements in for all this stuff as well, too. So if you're the 100% guy, there's going to be something for you.
It does look like you've got the ability to jump in, instantly start having fun, but then if you want to get everything, if you really want to kind of dedicate time to this game, then it's not a case of you'll be done in 3 days. And then that's it.
I mean, just getting the experience and unlocking the technology is only part of the fun in Firefall. You can also take resources and craft much more interesting items based on what you're putting in. I'll show you what that new interface looks like.
The crafting, I had a brief look at before I got here. I didn't actually get to play with it too much, but I have to ask, the mining and gathering style of thing, did you change that at all? Because I didn't. So that's still the same.
Thumping is still the same, although we do have plans to make thumpers a little more interesting for players. Well, can't get into those details yet, but if you see how you can customize your character, your mind can probably jump ahead and picture how you might be able to customize thumpers.
As a Firefall player, I have to say I'm so glad that you haven't changed Thumping, because it's so great when you've got a friend come into the game and it's like, okay, to do stuff you just go drop a thumper, and it was like, okay, and you see them walk out and just drop one down, and then all of a sudden they just get swarmed and things get crazy.
Yeah, it's pure fun.
Yeah, it's just like, I wasn't expecting this. I went out to mine. What are you doing to me? And it was like, kill them. This is how you mine in this game. And
yeah,
like,
you mine with your gun.
Yeah, it's absolutely brilliant. Do you want to tell a little bit more about Thumping for those that don't know, just so that we're filling them in?
Yeah, I'll show you the Thumping right after we go through this.
Okay,
so
excellent,
here,
even better.
I'm going to go through and I'll select a sniper rifle that I've unlocked.
Okay.
And here, when you unlock that piece of tech, you get a standard white level gear item.
You get the framework for the item so that you can then...
No, you get an item. You get a white item that now you can immediately
use.
use. You don't have to go out and collect resources to use that item if you don't want. But you probably do.
Yeah,
and here's why.
This is the bit I had a look at but didn't get enough into. It was you can change it depending on what you add to it.
Different types of resources have different properties and they can affect things in different ways. In addition, the resources also have kind of a rarity level as well too, and depending on the type of resource and the rarity, certain combinations will be really beneficial for certain types of objects.
So does it show any information if we hover over one of them?
Well, yes, it does. So right now it's showing me the stock, which
Yep.
is a 220 DPS rifle. But if I use a craptastic resource like this one here, which is not a great quality, it's like a 265. I'll probably have a worse one. Let's see. Let's go down a little bit.
You just try to find the worst one you can.
Because it's a good demonstration if I do it this way. So here you can see the properties, if I don't move the mouse, of the resources, right? It has conductivity,
Yeah.
density, all those things affect properties of items differently. And when I socket that in, so now it's going to recompute and show me what it's going to build, right? So the damage went up to 226.7.
Is there going to be an option added in that will actually show the comparing the two, so you can actually see how much better it is?
That sounds like a great idea.
That was the first thing that jumped into my head, because it's like, as a min-maxer, that part of my brain is like, okay, now I would remove that item and check the number again, and then put it back in and work out just exactly how much better I'm getting.
Yeah. And, well, you can swap them back and forth as well, too, but,
but
it's a great idea to have them contrasted.
Okay, so what happens if we... Okay.
So there I used a better quality resource, and I got a much better gun.
Can you show us the purple one as well? There was a...
Yeah, so that one is a slightly different resource. It's ferrite, which will do different things.
Well, what about the... Oh, yeah, we can't add the brimstone to it, can we? No.
We can. Actually,
Can
this
we?
is
Is it just that you
open-ended.
don't have any? I'm just wondering why it was grayed out up the top.
Well, it takes 500 minimum.
Ah, so that would be why.
Right, I might have some... Yeah, I've got some up here. There you go. So the different types of resources really kind of have some dramatic effects on the types of gear. And the resources can be very rare. So when you find like a high quality resource, you'll probably want to get as much of it as you can, because you're not sure when you're going to see it again.
Okay, so...
All right, and so resources are interesting, but how do you get them?
Yes.
All right, so let me switch my frame.
So while you're heading out to the Thumper, the resources that you're combining with the weapons, as I said, I got a brief play with it, but not enough to actually give tons of information on it. Is it going to change all of the stats upgrade, or are certain things going to influence stats more? So say, for example, if you wanted to increase the single hit ability of your sniper rifle, would there be an item for that? And then if you wanted to, say, increase the speed of it instead, is it going to work
there will
that
be
way?
discrete choices like that based on the quality and the type of resources.
So it's not just going to be a case of it upgrades all of the stats by X.
No, I mean, sometimes it's a detriment based on the type of resource.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of interesting fun there to explore. And
Which works so much better, because it does mean that you get to create the weapon you want.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the goal, is like, if you want to build a specific thing,
Yep.
there's an avenue for you to do it, but it might take you a little while to work for it.
Excellent.
Because the resource requirements are interesting. All right, so let's go out and find a good thumping spot. That thing keeps falling off.
For anyone that didn't see that but heard it, that was a piece of metal framework falling off of the monitor holder and just nailing into a glass table, which thankfully didn't break.
That could have been really exciting.
That would have been fantastic. And this is thumping. Shatter.
Yeah. Don't mess around at Firefall. All right, so in order to find resources, true to being humanity, we figured out that, let's make beating the crap out of the earth with a big hammer the method. So this will send out seismic shockwaves that will report back resources
You're
that
being
are found.
attacked by something.
Obviously, he didn't know who he was messing with. So I'll go over here and drop this resource harvesting device called a thumper. Now,
Which are great fun.
When I drop this down, it's going to take a little while to show up. But when it does, it's going to open up and start harvesting resources. Actually, I need to stand back a little bit.
And then the crazy begins.
Then the crazy begins. This is a risk versus reward scenario where the longer you play, the faster creatures start to come out, but the better quality and density of resources you're going to get.
Yeah.
This is something that you can either do alone or do with friends.
Yeah.
If you want, you can send it back early. It's kind of a risk versus reward, so if things get too hot and heavy, you have an out.
Yeah.
Losing your thumper is a painful experience in Firefall because that thumper is gone and you will have to build a new one.
Yes. So as we can see, things have now started to appear and try to mess up your day.
Yep. And mosquitoes this early is interesting.
Were you not expecting mosquitoes this early? What
So
were you
the longer
expecting?
you can hold out, the better, the more amount of resources you'll get. So you're really incentivized to hold out to the very last moment or to try to finish them.
Yeah. And it's not exactly quick either. I mean, you can see the capacity that it's got there and how slowly it is going up.
Yeah, different types of thumpers can take different amounts of time.
But it's still not a case of it will be done in, 5-10 seconds. This is a case of you will be here. You really do have to work out.
Yeah, these are usually several minute encounters. And you have a choice of where you put these in the world. So there's lots of player choice on the type of resources, the types of terrain that you choose to thump on. So there's lots of options for players to be very creative about where they put these. Like when I'm playing my engineer, I like looking for things that I can throw my turrets up that are outside of the range of the ground bugs to prevent them from being killed.
Yeah.
And that's just like one example of me being smart with the utilities that I have.
The integrity is taking quite a pounding there. We're down to 57.
Yeah, I'm only halfway paying attention here, but normally you would try to get multiple people to do this with you. So It is definitely something that we would like to have groups of people focusing on. Get some health here.
But of course, it is still possible as a single player.
Yes. And the more you tech up, the more able you are to be able to do these types of things by yourself.
Yep.
But we plan for that, so there are much larger thumpers that you can tech up to for as well.
Yeah. So do we want to just cancel the thumper and cash out, so to speak? So
all right, I'll send it back, and this will give me the resources that we've harvested. Hey, get off. So it'll go back and it'll show us how much we collected in the lower left. So I got 50 ferrite and 129 sifted earth. Not a great haul, but I did send it back early, and it was a low quality node. Around the world, there are all different kinds of resources that spawn and can be farmed out by players. So when you see that high quality node, you should get it while you can.
Yeah. Okay, is there anything else you want to show us that's new?
Yes, so there is other new stuff. So we're really pushing towards more of an esports element in Firefall, and this is new for us. So in order to demonstrate this, we've just hooked up our spectator and broadcast mode. We have the ability to watch matches either live or recorded matches. Every match in Firefall is automatically recorded. We can support large, thousands of players watching a single map without any impact on the server at all.
Is there a delay?
There are delays for live matches unless you're a broadcaster, right? And then the broadcasters have extra capacity that they can connect live without the delay because you need to be able to announce.
Yes. That's really taking a serious interest in it then, because
we're not messing around with esports.
Yeah. No? You don't seem to be messing around with anything. I mean, you changed pretty much most of your game.
Yeah, I mean, rewriting our progression system in 6 weeks was a monumental task, and I applaud the amount of effort that went into the guys that worked on this milestone getting it done, because it was a superhuman effort.
I'm really curious to know how that was received in the office when that guy walks in and it's just like, we're going to change everything. And it's just like, were hats coming off and cheering, or was just everyone just kind of quiet? And
no, we explained what we were doing and why we were doing it, and it made sense.
Yeah,
and it was a risk for us to do that at this point in the product, but it totally worked for us.
It does look like it's paying off. Everything seems a lot smoother. I mean, our camera guy was saying that it just feels tighter. The combat felt a bit better, and everything just seemed to play way better than he
so
we
raised the skill ceiling on all the weapons as well too. So as you go up in tiers, there are more and more weapons that you can unlock that are a lot more skillful. Like at tier 3, the assault gets the fusion cannon, which doesn't do any splash damage, but it's a high impact damage, right? So skillful players will gravitate more towards those weapons, where other players maybe will use more of the splash based weapons. Doesn't look like this is loading.
We don't seem to be loading.
Yeah. All right.
Well, it is a beta. I'm not surprised that betas aren't meant to be perfect. That's not a beta. That's a demo. So.
Yeah, I mean, we are still in beta. We are, still featuring having issues with our build. So, please bear with us while we change things.
So, has rewriting a lot of the stuff pushed back the kind of release schedule that you were looking at?
We didn't plan on redoing our whole progression system, so that did cost us a little bit of time, which things have slid a little bit, but we're still on track to turn on our cash shop pretty soon. We've just changed our beta so that we're no longer wiping experience from players, so the effort that you do, you get to keep. We may end up, changing our trees around some based on feedback from the community, but we'll refund all that at EXP and then you get to respend it.
Yeah, which is a great way to also then test the higher up levels of the tree, because if you did keep resetting it, then everyone's going to have to keep grinding, which means the higher up talents and the higher up tiers won't see as much love as the lower down ones, because there's not going to be enough people playing with them, which means that
I don't know. I think there are different mechanics at different tiers. So if you really like the mechanics of a certain tier, I think there's still going to be plenty of fun for you to play there.
No, I mean, if you were resetting the XP every time, then of course you're going to have fewer players getting up to, say, tier 3. So you're going to get a little less testing.
Oh, actually, no. So tier is stored individually per battle frame. So when I buy an Accord Assault battle frame, I'm taking up that battle frame. The tier 2 is a different battle frame.
Yeah, okay. So you're not resetting those.
We may reset in the midst of a tier, right? But that would only be like tier 1. Okay, we redid the Assault tier 1 and changed things slightly, but that wouldn't affect tier 2, 3, or any of the other tiers.
Okay.
And so that's really kind of how we're planning on trying to, give people tangible work. You get to keep that. It's not going to be taken away from you anymore. We really wanted to make sure that people continue to play our beta, and when you're constantly losing all your progression, that's an unfun experience.
Yeah, and as I was saying, it also hurts you, because if you're constantly resetting stuff, it means the higher up end game kind of level area isn't going to see many people getting there.
Yeah, I mean, that's true, and it does take a bit of time to tech up to those tiers, so we want to make sure that players can do that when they want.
Okay, so let's see if we can actually get...
Let's try this one more time and use a different map. All right. These German keyboards.
Yes, been having so much issue with the German keyboard. I keep going to hit Y, and then it's not where I expect it to be, and it's down the bottom left, and Z is up the top.
Yeah, and then the @ you have to do this, and it's like,
It's just crazy.
Okay, let's... I learned something new today, folks.
Our German helper is out here going, "Oh, you can just change it. Just push some buttons."
All right.
Don't forget your towel. One of the best tips.
All right, so let's go back up to the PvP terminal. Turn off.
Let's see what we can get.
Tips. All right.
Okay.
So now in the PvP terminals, you have this option at the bottom to watch matches.
Yes.
And hopefully this will connect this time.
Also, one of the best features you added, auto re-queue after completed a PvP match. Such a nice tick box. So simple and yet so handy.
Yes. Okay, this one's gonna work.
There we go.
No, it's not.
No.
All right, so I think we have something going on with our replay system today, but we'll figure it out.
It's fine. It happens.
It was working great yesterday.
So if people want to find out any more information about Firefall, where can they go?
Go to www.firefallthegame.com. There's lots of information up there. Feel free to sign up for our beta. We will be releasing keys aggressively over the upcoming months until we are going into open beta, and at which point you will no longer need a private key to play. Okay, and there's no NDA covering the beta or anything, is there? There is no current end date for the beta. It's like we'll take NDA. There is no NDA for the game at all right now. In fact, one of the cool new features that we integrated is Twitch TV inside the client. So when you're playing Firefall, you can just stream out to the world and they can watch your trials and tribulations. Which is always good, because that then helps, get more people interested and your friends interested. Yeah, and the more people you're playing with, the more fun experience you're going to have. And that's one of the real core features of Firefall, is we wanted to make sure that it was a social shooter that you can enjoy with your friends. Excellent. Well, Scott, thank you very much for your time, and thank you for letting us look at your game. Thank you. Awesome.